The Canonization by Donne. For God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. Or chide my palsy or my gout, my 5 grey hairs or vain fortune flout. With wealthier state, your mind with arts improve. Take your course, get your place, observe his honor or his grace, or the king's real or his stamped face. Contemplate what you will approve, so you will let me love. Alas, alas, who's injured by my love? What merchant's ships have my sighs drowned? Who says my tears have overflowed his ground? When did my colds of forward spring remove? When did the heat switch my veins feel? Add one more to the plague I bear. Soldiers find worse, and lawyers find out still litigious men, which quarrels move, though she and I do love. Call us what you will, you are made such by love. Call her one, me another fly, we're tapers too, and at our own cost die. And we in us find the eagle and the dove, the phoenix riddle hath more wit by us. We two being one are it, so to one neutral thing both sexes fit. We die and rise the same, and prove mysterious by this love. We can die by it, if not live by love, and if unfit for tombs and hearse, a legend be, it will be fit for verse. And if no piece of chronicle we prove, we'll build in sonnets pretty rooms. As well, a well-wrought urn becomes the greatest ashes as half-baked tombs. And by these hymns, all shall approve us canonized for love. And thus invoke us, you whom reverent love made one another's hermitage, you to whom love was peace, that now is rage. Who did the whole world's soul contract and drove into glasses of your eyes, so made such mirrors and such spies that they did all to you epitomize. Countries, towns, courts, big from above, a pattern of your love.
With the emphatic statement, for God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love. This sets the tone for the rest of the poem and introduces to the poem's subject matter, love. Although it is not entirely clear who Donne's intended audience is, we can assume both by the speaker's tone how he addresses his audience that the poem's speaker, a male, is speaking with a friend or acquaintance. The speaker suggests to his friend that he should leave his relationship alone and find something else about him to pick on. He even provides him with a few examples: my palsy, my gout, my 5 grey hairs, or my ruined future fortune float. He continues on stating to his friend that he should be more concerned with his own life. He suggests furthering his education, finding religion, entertaining himself with the affairs of the kingdom or money. He tells his friend, find anything that interests you to distract you from my love life so that he might love in peace. The speaker begins the second stanza with an emphatic cry of alas, alas. He then proceeds to ask his friend, who's injured by my love? The speaker then goes on to tell his friend by asking rhetorical questions about several things that still go on and will never be affected by his love. He claims that his sighs have never drowned a merchant ship, or nor has his tears overflowed anyone's ground. The speaker also claims this colds, his chill of will, has never prevented spring from arriving. He adds that the heats which veins feel have never added another death to the plougy bill. He furthers his point by adding that soldiers find worse and lawyers still charges guilty man and woman with crimes even though he is in love. Of all the stanzas in the poem, the third has to be the most esoteric. The speaker begins the stanza by stating, calls what you will, we are made such by love. While this line is easy enough to decipher, its meaning simply, it does not matter what you call us because we are who we are, because we love one another. The rest of the stanza is not so easy. Donne's poetry has always intrigued feminist critics. Their main concern lies within the question, how does Donne present women in his work? It has generally been agreed upon that Donne patronizes women and portrays them as significantly less important than their male counterparts. Ilona Bell, in her piece The Lady in Songs and Sonnets, claims that Donne's work is self-absorbed. Janelle Muller, in her piece Women Among the Metaphysicals, a case mostly of being done for, claims that in Donne's work, women remain highly subjectivized presence in this highly subjectivized poetry. However, in recent years, feminist and gender studies critics in particular have been assessing Donne's work in a different way. They claim that Donne, throughout his poetry, especially in his pieces, elegies and songs and sonnets, he continuously and purposefully intertwines the genders of his male and female speakers. In doing so, they claim his view on women and gender roles are very different than previously assumed. In Donne's work, the female other begins to contribute crucially to male selfhood when a speaker registers the one set of desire. This knowledge of specifically sexual attraction impresses a man with his own lack as well as his longing to consume to himself to all that a given woman has and is. For feminist critics, this means that Donne not only sympathizes and accepts women as equal, he inserts his character and ultimately himself in the role of a woman. However, it is also claimed that Donne often mixes the genders, blurring the lines between man and woman. Whether or not this was Donne's intent, no one is really certain. Feminists and gender studies critics are taking this idea to be a big leap forward in feminist theory.
A whole new level of meaning. The second line of the stanza is as well easily deciphered, with the speaker claiming that the spoken to can call his lover one and himself another fly, meaning that we do not care what it is you call us because we are who we are. The third line of the stanza is where the stanza begins becoming less understandable. The speaker claims that he and his partner are tapers too, and at our own cost die. It can be assumed that tapers refers to candles, but what does it mean? So he and his lovers are candles that die at their own cost? So what is their cost though? Is it their own lives because they as candles will eventually burn out? Another interesting point about this line is that the speaker begins to blur the roles between himself and his lover. While in real life they are a man and a woman, two very different things, they are both represented by candles. The fourth line claims that the speaker and his lover find the eagle and the dove in themselves. The eagle and the dove are two very different birds that have very different meanings when interpreted non-literally. The eagle is a representation of masculinity and freedom, while the dove is a biblical bird, often seen as feminine, but as well it is a global symbol of peace. The speaker, by changing his and his lover's form from inanimate objects to animal which we recognize as having sexes, brings them closer to being equal and ultimately the same. The speaker furthers this in the next line by claiming that because of himself and his partner, the phoenix riddle hath more wit. He then goes on to claim that they are one being and that they themselves are the phoenix and riddle. At this point, the speaker and his lover are one being, a gender-neutral being, who are completely equal in their standing. They are one, thus they are the same. This means that man and woman are the same. The speaker claims that his and his partner die and rise the same as the phoenix did, meaning that they too are immortal, meaning that their love is immortal, and as well that because they are in love, they understand the mystery of love. The fourth stanza begins with the speaker claiming that he and his lover can die by love and that they can likely live by love as well. He goes on to note that if their love is unfit for a tome or a hearse, it will at least be fit for a poetry. Later in the stanza, the speaker notes that in the end a well-wrought urn is just as worthy of a burial as half-acre tombs. The speaker claims that if no piece of chronicle we prove, meaning quite simply if their love poem is not popular, he and his lover can at least build in sonnets pretty rooms. In the last two lines of the stanza, the speaker claims that it will be because of their love sonnets that all shall approve, that their love will forever canonize. The somewhat narcissistic end to the stanza sets us up perfectly for the poem's final stanza. In the fifth and final stanza of the poem, the speaker tries on what it would feel like if he and his lover were the saints of love. Donne does this by having the speaker speak from the point of view his adoring fans. In his mind, he and his lover have become the saints of love. They are the epitome of love. Lovers from around the world, countries, towns, and courts beg for a pattern of their love, as theirs is the perfect model. In conclusion, it is my belief that through this explication of Donne's The Canonization, we have learned that although this poem has been critically assessed time and time again, there is always something new to discover. Because of feminist theorists, we now have a new angle at which to perceive Donne's work. Even though we may never be entirely sure of Donne's intent by critically assessing this or any other poem, we are always left with the opportunity to learn something new about the author, their time, and even about ourselves.